I lock it full of
And plus, Okay, we have the minutes from the January 17th meeting. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
To approve them? I do not.
You do not. I just have error to correct. In the treasurer's report says we collected 984 million in revenue last year, last month. It should be 984,000.
Where was that?
Is that good on you know?
It's on page 3. County gen revenue for December should be 984,000. Anything else?
No,
All right, do I have a motion to approve the
So moved.
minutes as amended?
I make second.
Moved by Murphy, seconded by Barry. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, our agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Thompson?
consent item, EB, pull the unloader ordinance to action.
Anything else?
Yes, consent item, GA 3, triple I, belongs under G, D is in dog.
Still and consent, right?
Yes,
As in the,
G3.
yeah, GA 3. Well, yeah, I'll just toss this last thing in here. Consent item GA 1 and 2, and 3, all need labeled as a resolution.
There's one resolution or three?
There's 3 resolutions.
okay,
That's
anything
it.
else? Yep, Carl?
Under consent on campground, we need to move that to action for the approval of the new contract. Campground superintendent. I think it's on there. It's not listed as anything other than just campground there. Talking about contract.
Where's this?
Where are you at?
It's not even on here.
It's on miscellaneous A,
On this line.
on the action agenda.
Yeah, it's on. I thought it was listed.
Yeah, I think it's there.
Thank
You okay with that?
Yep.
Anything else? All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I make a motion.
Moved by Barry, seconded by Kessel. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Announcements, communications, and correspondence. Fulton County GIS map website. Mr. Clerk.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start out with a little bit of history of this project. So in 2003, the Fulton County Board developed a GIS task force to do a cost study to create a GIS program. If anybody wants to see that cost study or some of the benefits of a countywide GIS system by department, you can stop by my office or public record. A lot of the stuff on here is still relevant today. And we have not had a GIS website since 2003. But now we do. So about a year and a half ago, we were sitting in a budget meeting with the finance committee, and Julie and I just kind of looked at each other and we said, you know, let's go ahead and explain this to them. So we kind of shot a lot from the hip. And Julie has a great technical knowledge of GIS. And the only responsibility that I can take is that I paid the bills within the budget that was allotted to me and gave ideas as to what layers my office would need. And I was on every Zoom meeting, wasn't I, Jim? Every one but one, maybe. So, but now we do have a countywide GIS system. We've had one for a while with our 911 board, but theirs is very technical and aimed more towards public safety, rightfully so, because it's used to save lives, to correct addresses in order to get first responders there to save lives. Ours is more towards aimed at the constituents that they need it. We're going to continue adding to it. We're going to continue adding layers, such as political districts, and different things like that. I know Keith Munner is chopping at the bit to get some things on it that are important to him. You know, sign inventories, culvert inventories. I hope I'm not stealing anything from your list. And we would really like to get the health department on board too, because there's some things that they could benefit from. But I wasn't supposed to talk very long, but you guys know me better than that. But I just want to talk about, you know, how important this is going to be moving forward. How big of an impact you guys had on giving us the budget to do so. I can tell you that we haven't increased the budget at all. Every cent that was spent on this project were from fees that were collected from my recorder of deeds office. So no county general fund money was spent on this project. So that's what we promised you guys. That's what we delivered on. You guys did allocate us money for a GIS director. We don't have one. That money's still in the budget. You guys did allocate money for us to hire a clerk / admin for that GIS director. That's not been done yet. That money's still in the budget. We do have some stakeholders that we hope to bring in. We're still working on that. But now Julie is going to show you the map. If you can't find it on the website, you're not looking hard enough, because Julie's like, get this on the website. I'm like, where at? She's like, here. So no, I put it on the front page, her page, my page, the bottom of the front page. I've done everything but fly an airplane with the URL on it throughout the county.
It's actually at the very, very top of the website, next to like ordinances, like really important.
Car, bumper. So,
Is it a
You'll
pop-up?
probably start
it's
getting,
pop up.
you'll probably start getting phone calls.
So, with that being said, I mean, not saying that we're phenomenal people, but they started something in 2003 that was never accomplished at the level that it is. And Julie and I and Chris Ellie, and you'll hear the biggest reasons for it. You'll meet them soon, but we got it done in just under 2 years. So here's your supervisor of assessments, Julie Russell.
So I would love to show you lots of technical aspects of this map, which if you look, you can actually see the parcels that divide the courthouse east from west. We like to refer to it as, if I can't see that far from wide. The east half here, you have Patrick's office and Stacy's office, and if you look at your west half over here, you can find people such as myself, State's attorney, you have a circuit clerk here as well. Like I said, I would love to show you lots of technical things, so if you're running back and forth the entire time, because I can't read that far away. This map, like Patrick said, has been several years in the making. I worked here since 2009. It's been 15 years, and the GIS program at the county level with our actual parcel mapping and farmland mapping had just started when I started here. This is something that we wanted to come to fruition several years ago, but for one circumstance or another, it just never did. The benefits that this map has to the economic development of our county between future developers being able, there are provisions, which I'm going to show you because I can't see that far away. Up here in the top left, where you see a plus sign on top of the sheet of paper, developers, thanks Chris, he's not blind. No, that's not the right button, to the right. Down, to the left, that's the front, keep going. Right there. Developers who are looking to bring a business to Fulton County, if they have what's called a shapefile, that's the type of file that you load into a GIS system. They can literally hit the add data button and add their own shapefiles to our parcel map to see where their business plan can realistically fit within our county. Their access to waterways, roads, utilities, points of entrance. People can see where TIF districts are, business development districts, and if the business that they're looking to cite will fall within one of them for their own development. This map also helps, additionally, it helps us provide better government transparency. You can look at everybody else's information. Everybody knows I'm in board review season right now at my office. This has been a huge help from taxpayers. We've heard it multiple times already, that they're able to search out properties similar to theirs, find their assessment characteristics much faster than just nitpicking throughout Google Maps and then going to the web. As Chris can show you, if you click on a parcel now, under assessment details right here, you can click that more info, and it will automatically take you to the property tax inquiry site that's maintained by my office in DevNet. So you can see the actual parcel details for that parcel. With that, the increased public access just to necessary routinely sought information is going to cut down majorly on the phone traffic and put traffic into my office so my girls can do their jobs better. They do act as township assessors for 25 townships, so they use as much time as they can get. Other things that helps with location of road right of ways, parcel lines. What you're seeing on this actual map now, which the map that populates the DevNet wedge is our parcel map. What you're seeing on this map now are the same parcel lines you're going to be able to see in my office. When people would originally come in and the old maps were kind of skewed and had imagery from like Bing images and Google. This is actual rectified ortho photography that was flown in 2020. I think through the Illinois State Police. So this photography is actually typed into the public base survey system and is accurate within a couple of feet. Going forward, like Patrick mentioned, our goal is to have a Fulton County GIS consortium similar to what McDonough County has. We would be bringing on additional stakeholders. Patrick kind of stole my line with the highway department, and Keith was ready to start inventory designs and folders last year. There are field tools and apps that we can use with ArcMap. We already use them with 911 to collect data in the field. My girls have worked in conjunction, as well as myself, with Chris for probably the last 6 years that I've had. So, other than that, I know a lot of this is kind of new to you. One of the best examples I have of GIS is the COVID-19 pandemic. The entire pandemic was tracked with GIS mapping. When you saw like all of the hot spots on a map, that was all used with GIS data. Things like that can help the health department, as well as like locations of wells, septic, so on and so forth. Other than that, I'll hand it over to Chris.
So a lot of you I've understood what the 911 board is. The 911 board is the board that oversees 911 and how it all operates. Because of their leadership and because of what that board has had for a vision, we have been able to do things that nobody else in the state of Illinois has done, and that is not an exaggeration. Additionally, because of the 911 board's leadership and their work, we've been able to obtain imagery for the county, saving tens, if not probably close to 100,000, because we've done 2 flights now.
A lot more than $100,000.
Yeah, probably maybe 200,000. Again, that goes back to the 911 board's leadership. And a lot of you see this map and you see all these fancy tools and everything. The reason why this is important, and maybe Carl can even chime in a little bit here, the first question you get asked when you call 911 is, where's your emergency? If we don't know where you're at, we don't know who to send, where to send, and anything else. A prime example, I'll give you 2 brief ones, is the campground. The campground is huge. If you go out to the campground and you're at a campsite, camping away, and you have chest pains, and you call 911, well, I'm at the campground, site 212, and I'm just making up the site. Where's that at? That is a massive, massive field. If we have to get an ambulance to you without these tools, 10 minutes can make a world of difference. Because of what the 911 board has done, we went out there with iPads and drones. Chad mentioned that. Flew that entire campground, walked every single campsite and dropped pins on iPads. And I had a little 13-year-old intern, child labor laws. But we marked every single one, created roads, labeled every site. So if you call, it used to be, and Carl, correct me if I'm wrong, it used to be you call 911 and say, meet me at the gate. It's 2024. We don't do that here. So we now have the ability, if you call and say, I'm at site 212, I will route that ambulance right to that door of that camper because of what the 911 board has done. Additionally, a prime example, and this is not well known, Fulton County was the first county in the state of Illinois, possibly nation, to have every single school indoor mapped. So if you call 911 and say, I'm in room 212 at Canton High School, Farmington School District, which has 1,300 people in it during the average day, I will drop that call right on that room, route that responder right to that address. We're saving time, we're saving minutes, and because of what the 911 board has done, they're saving lives. It happens every single day, and that's just a very small glimpse. As a matter of fact, thanks to the sheriff, we've actually mapped the courthouse. So if you call and say, I'm in room, whatever at the courthouse, the dispatcher knows exactly where that's at. Trying to give an example of this is the horrible school swatting call we had in Canton. We had 5 different police agencies respond to the city of Canton because there's 6 schools, I think it is. We had to have every single school mapped out. So every single officer, the officer coming in from Farmington, the officer coming in from Lewiston, knew how that school was laid out, knew where rooms were at. It's hard to explain it, but we had a person having chest pains in one of the rooms, and we were able to route the ambulance to a different door and take it right into that room. This is saving lives. It makes a difference. And it's just, I cannot say enough good things about Julie, Pat, Chad, and Renee. They have actually created technology to do this that didn't exist until last year because of what Chad and Renee have done. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't see. Every day we're in GIS. Every single day, Pat, Julie, or I are doing something. It's Saturday. We're out mapping. We're getting phone calls. We're doing something. We're touching it. It is a living, breathing document that this isn't done today. It's not done tomorrow. It's not done next week. It changes every day. And I will shut up. I thought this Spaniel was going to choke me out there. It's going on so long.
Chad and Renee want to say anything?
So this is Chad Sperry from the Western Illinois University GIS department, who all of us has talked about this. but him and his team has made all this happen. They've laid the foundation to make all this happen. So before Chad says anything, we aren't going to steal your thunder, but we would like for Renee to come up as well.
She's just as cool.
And we have
Yeah.
Renee rocks.
our boss has a special presentation for you guys, and also this project was started a year and a half ago, and we had someone else working on it. His name was Kay, and we have to recognize him. We lost him along the way, and he was an important piece to all this. So
And a friend.
and a great friend and a very, very smart guy. But I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a certificate of appreciation here. This certifies that Western Illinois University GIS Department is being recognized for their expertise, support, and guidance to Fulton County in the development of the Fulton County GIS map. Thank you for your assistance and guidance that provides us the opportunity to present this valuable tool to the residents of Fulton County. Thank you very much.
Get in there, Joan.
So, wow, I didn't expect this. This is great. This is great. Just a few words following Patrick and Julie and Chris. First off, I just want to say that without Renee, none of this would be possible. So I'm the director of the center. Renee is the project manager, and she is who you really need to thank. She's the one that made it come to fruition. And like Patrick said, Keisuke Mizaki, we lost him to a brain tumor. It was a real tragic story, but he got this kicked off and got this started with the technology side of it. And what's that?
And he lived in Fulton.
Yes, he did.
So he was fantastic. But I want to say a few words, if I may, about the staff that we got to work with, because they're top notch. You guys are very fortunate to have Patrick and Julie and Chris working in leadership roles here in Fulton County. And we've been involved in Fulton County GIS for a number of years, and very fulfilling to see this project come to fruition. We've worked in Henderson County, Adams County, Knox County. Well, we're working with about 20 counties due to Chris's leadership, and getting these consortiums, set up and working, because GIS, if we share resources, if we share data, and if we share staff, we're getting cost efficiencies, and we're improving, our ability to literally save lives, like Chris said. So we've got 20 counties that we're working with for the 911. Then we work with, a subset of those counties for web mapping. And I have to say that this is the cherry on top. This is the Cadillac of the counties that we work with in terms of the technology, the leadership, the vision that you guys had in laying this all out. And Chris said, we want the parcel data up to date every day. And I said, okay, Renee, can we do this?
And
she said, yes, I think we can do this. And we've done it. We pulled it off. So I could go on and ramble for another 20 minutes, but I'll save you guys the time. But it's very fulfilling and gratifying to be up here and speaking. Renee, do you have any words that you'd like to say? So thank you very much. You guys are very fortunate to have Chris and Patrick.
All right, thank you guys. Thank all of you very much. Fulton County on the cutting edge.
On the cutting edge, for sure.
Was that him cover everything in the county, say like MSD?
What's that?
You talk about how big the campground is, think about does that cover MSD's property too?
We actually, the chairman and I reached out to MSD and worked with them, and we're actually building a bridge there that we didn't have up until a couple months ago, and working with them on labeling gates, because one of our dispatchers brought up that we can get a car accident on a blacktop,
Right.
and they see, and I'm making this up, it's G19 on the gate, where's that at on this map? We don't know. But because of what Mr. Spangler has arranged, we've been able to bridge it and are working on sharing that data. And we actually went out there and drove around with my truck, and digitally mapped all of the roads. So if there's a 911 caller, and we'll get it on a map, we can route that responding unit right to that call. So
We gotta figure out which gate they have to go.
yeah, or some of the, they've got the universal key, you can beat that gate right through.
Does anybody else have any other questions for Renee and I? I'm happy to.
We can talk mapping all
We
day.
could, yeah. It's very passionate for us if you can't tell. So,
We need a hobby, let's be honest.
Thank you, guys.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. We have no public remarks. We move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Beck. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Murphy. Any discussion? Seeing none. Roll call.
Widger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Barkley,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Grigsby,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Kessel,
Yes.
Coomer,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Sloan,
Yes.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Action agenda. Madam Treasurer.
Good evening, everyone. Short, sweet, and to the point tonight. All audits are ongoing. The work comp audit is complete. We're just waiting on the final report. Patrick and I will get that soon. OPEB audit, the regular audit, everything is to them. They're still processing it. Again, it'll be a couple of months before we have a lot of feedback on that. ACA is the only thing that I am truly dialing down on. That is where we're required by government to send to the employees when they are eligible for insurance each month. They get something special in the mail. So that will be completed next week. It's not due till the end of the month, but I want it done off my desk. So working with the insurance company on that. Last but not least, Time Clock Plus. We were scheduled to go live on Saturday, February 24th. Our main trainer with the software company is experiencing a medical emergency and in the hospital. I don't know for how long, so we're a bit delayed, but we're just going to continue to be patient. So thank you very much. I know many of you want this project up and going. I am trying. It's just sometimes life happens. On a positive note, the health department is live and it's going remarkably well. So we do have one department. Special thanks to Katie Lynn and her staff for being the quote unquote guinea pigs on it, and things are going well. Financials are all here. Does anyone have thoughts, questions, concerns? Okay, thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Community Development Zoning, anything? No report? All right. County Highway.
I'll give a quick report, then I'll have Keith talk about the use of equipment. The 250 miles of road in our county, about 55 miles of it is gravel, which requires continuous work. And the good news is that he has got all that graded this spring. So all 55 miles has been prepped and ready. They are now moving on to pothole repair and all the blacktop roads, which we all know is happening in spring. March 4th, as far as the building, that will be the date of demolition. So until then, they will be moving equipment, supplies, prepping, and storing throughout the county where they can. And that's it. Any questions for me before I turn it over to Keith?
Okay. Hold on a second.
You want a motion? You want a motion on
I was
this?
gonna say, we'll have to,
Before
Jared,
the
we need a
discussion?
motion on the end loader and then we'll just.
Yeah, I
we
wanted
have
to
discuss.
talk though really quick, give a little history.
Let's go ahead and get the motion.
I'll make
and
the
then we'll go
motion.
into discussion.
Need the motion
Discussion.
for
Oh, okay.
discussion.
Okay, we have moved by Murphy for the ordinance to purchase and finance an end loader. So a second. Second by Barry. All right, discussion. Keith.
So real quick, wanted to present the resolution here to purchase and finance a new end loader for the highway department. The reason it's coming before the board now, with lead times we've experienced with some of our trucks that we've ordered recently, we want to make sure we get it ordered and in time for the next snow season, 2024-2025 winter. It's in the budget. We have it in our 2024 budget to make the down payment. And it's well within our means and plans for future budgets to make annual payments. I intend to, my estimation is it'll be under $200,000 total. I plan to put $25,000 down and finance the rest over a 2-year period, typically using a local bank. Our existing end loaders from 1997. It sees most of its hours in salt piles. It sees a lot of salt. So for that reason, understandably, it's pretty deteriorated and need for replacement. We've done a pretty good job of keeping our tandems up and current and new. However, it's time to focus on the equipment. The last piece of big equipment we replaced was in 2017. And so it's time to get on some of the heavy equipment. And the end loader is by far the consensus of the one that is in the most need of replacement. And just as far as the coinciding with the building project, just as a reminder, we've got some really big roadway projects going on this summer. A bunch of the bridges we're working on getting designed. And so our fleet and our roadway needs are going to remain while the highway building's getting built. So I think it's a good time. This issue will not go away. This piece of machinery needs to be replaced. So happy to answer any other questions if there are any.
Any questions for Keith about this?
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
So what he's trying to do is what we need to do. He's trying to plan, prep, and get a cycle so that we're not being just reactive when there's the next crisis. So we're not just trying to come up with $4 million to build a building. You know, we're trying to maintain and replace this.
I've been digging out of a hole here for some time, as far as everything, roads, building, machinery.
Yeah.
Stuff that's been neglected.
Yeah, and Carl has a good point. The old one will be used. It will be used off-site, maybe another like Fairview or somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's gonna be scrapped. It's just not reliable. And,
Yes.
to keep using like we need to do.
That's correct. Yep.
Any other questions for Keith? Discussion, anything? Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Keith. Roll call.
Sloan,
Yes.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Yes.
Thompson, Widger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Barkley,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Grigsby,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Kessel,
Yes.
Coomer,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Platt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you. All right, finance, insurance, personnel, legislative.
I want to talk about it before we vote.
Do what?
I want to talk about it before we make a motion. Okay, we have been kicking around in the finance committee for a couple of years talking about pursuing a county administrator. There's been lots of conversation on it. We've had money in the budget for 2 years for partial salary because usually the first part of the year we wouldn't have anybody. We have to hire somebody. So it was not a full year's salary for 2 years. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. If we're going to do this, we have to figure out all the details. We have to develop a job description. We have to write an employee agreement. We have to do the interviews. We have to do the search. And then we have to come up with the right person to do it. And in the end, we may not come up with the right person to do it. I think we've all agreed that It has to be the right person, not just somebody. So, in order to go forward with this county administrator position, I want, if there's anything that you take away from my thoughts on this, is that it is to be in partnership with our department heads and elected officials. As somebody just, as they just described, we have really good, enthusiastic, hardworking department heads and elected officials. And we need an administrator to help with the county board functions to aid them in their, making their job better as well. There's quit mumbling, Joe.
Thank you.
Well, okay, I'll say point of order then. The motion should be made first, then the discussion, correct?
I'll make the motion. Lisa, would you like to second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, you're right. But at any rate, so we're bringing it to you tonight, not to approve hiring an administrator, but to do all the work that it's gonna take to pursue the possibility of hiring.
Is there money budgeted already for once?
Yes,
There was.
yes, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, what's the number on
It's $80,000 right now.
It's been budgeted?
That's been budgeted
40 and
for,
40.
and that is considered to be partial year.
Oh, yeah.
The salary range for an administrator can range from 80, I would expect up to $110,000. Depends on their qualifications, depends on,
I would suspect
lots.
getting somebody good, well qualified, they're gonna want more.
well, we don't know what that total number is gonna be. We don't know what their experience is. Anyway, so we brought it to you tonight to decide should the finance committee work, because it's gonna be a lot of work on pursuing a county administrator. Yes or no? We're not doing all the work just to have it voted no.
I say no.
I
We gotta
think we
do
can
roll
do a
call.
roll call.
Gotta do a roll
Let's do a
call.
roll call. We really gotta stick with this right here.
We're not interested. Okay, Carl?
I spoke with Cole McDaniels last week on a different subject. We were talking about a couple things. I think next month, he is gonna come here, his partner, we already have their firm working with us, is a county administrator, had been a county administrator for 4 or 5 different counties. I think he's still one, maybe Tazewell County.
Sullivan.
Is it Delavan? Okay. I think that we need to hear what Cole and him may present next month of their ability. They're already employed by us with their firm. If there's something they can do as far as what we've already got contracted with them, I sure don't see hiring another administrator. And like I said, people's not been on the board for a long time. We went down this road a few times. So, and I don't know if we can afford to get the pay what we're gonna need for that person to be legitimate and a good person that does this. And like, I look to you, and Lisa put a lot of work into this, but there's some things that I don't think a county administrator has any business being involved in. I don't see how he can go over to our sheriff and say, you need to discipline them, or I need to help you do. Well, that, you got in there employee discipline.
Well, there have been instances where there have been department heads that could use guidance and a second opinion on discipline. And honestly, if you're gonna discipline an employee, you should have another person in the room with
We
you
have a
when you do
state's
it.
attorney and 2 assistants.
It's true, it's true. Yes, but, I mean, so it's not like we're looking for them to discipline people. This is a matter of aiding in HR. We have 240 employees in the county, and we don't have an HR department. Now, I don't know, labor laws are pretty important. It'd be nice if we could get an administrator that had some knowledge in labor laws, public administration, things that the board doesn't know. There are no requirements to be a board member. There are no education experiences or expectations. There's nothing. All you have to do is be a registered voter. We need a professional to help guide us and make us better.
I guess when I look at this list of stuff, and I'll say it how I relate it, you have a dog that coon hunts, you don't use that dog to duck hunt, do everything else, so you're gonna have one person trying to do all this.
It's
It's not
my
me.
understanding that this person is coming in to help us build a plan and help us get in the multiple properties we have under wrap, to help us figure out what inventory we're insuring that we shouldn't be insuring that we need to get rid of. That's my understanding. This person is going to come in and help us build a plan for the future of our county that we don't necessarily have right now because the county board members don't necessarily have the time to build said plan. Is that correct?
That is certainly among the list of things to do. There are many things to do. I mean, as you see, it's kind of a wide list. It was kind of just an all general, I threw stuff on there that I see needs to be done. But we're gonna work on developing the list and putting together what we think are the most important duties of this person. And but we're not gonna do it if everybody's just gonna vote no for a county administrator.
Kessel?
So a couple of things that I don't think have been mentioned yet. One thing, our labor attorney, we're paying $250 plus an hour, 300 something, a lot an hour, to do things that we could have a county administrator do. Not saying all of them, but there's a lot of things we're paying him to do because we don't have anybody here to do it, or we don't have the time. Some of the negotiation things, I think we could have had a county administrator work on instead of paying the labor attorney $100 an hour to do. The county board, I'm going to use Lisa as an example because she wouldn't say it. Lisa puts more time into county work than the majority of us combined. And we're not always going to have a finance chair that can put that much time into personnel and legislative and creating policies and doing some of this work that she's been doing the last couple of years. And that's something else this person can do. We're behind in a lot of those areas. We're trying to catch up. We're trying to make progress. We're trying to put things in place that need to be there. But there's a lot of things, just like we pointed out earlier, about equipment and buildings and stuff like that. There's just a lot of things that we need to catch up on. And if we had someone that was paying attention to that and kind of getting us where we need to be and planning for the future, I think we'd be in better shape. Some of the county board members are expected to take on way more than maybe what we should be. And if we had a county administrator to help, I think things would be a lot smoother and we'd end up with better results.
Well, we have a county policy now. And, so an administrator can start with that. These are all the things that we voted on. This is the way we want our business run. They have a place to start. They can always use improved, but they would have day-to-day guidance in what's expected from us, what we expect, because we have a policy with it.
And I think just because it hasn't worked in the past doesn't mean we shouldn't revisit it. It's my understanding some of those situations, we had some very interesting county board chairs at the time, where maybe it would have been made it very difficult for things to be successful. So I don't think just because it hasn't succeeded in the past means we shouldn't reconsider if it makes sense today.
And I was kind of surprised coming on the board that we didn't have like a central HR type department and the policies and procedures and things that Lisa, you've worked on, that, there wasn't a county employee type, working on that. Patrick mentioned a couple more positions that haven't been filled for GIS. So we have the need for the county for expertise to work on these things. I think we need to vote to explore putting together, job description, look at candidates, and go down the path. This is not saying that, we're going to hire one or pick one, but I think we need to go ahead and explore and see what we can find.
Lisa, what's your thoughts about what Carl suggested earlier about Cole and his partner?
Well, Cole and his partner, Cole is fantastic at what he does. And he's gotten us some heavy duty grants, and that's important. Problem is, when you get those grants, there's kind of administration of those grants as well, and you don't really have anything to do that. But so I don't know. I don't personally see the items on these lists falling under what Cole does. I mean, a lot of this stuff is day-to-day county board responsibilities.
Isn't that department head responsibility?
I'm sorry, what?
Isn't that department head responsibility?
They are department head responsibilities.
Well, what I'm saying
You know, we
is,
shove our responsibilities off onto our department heads. Okay, RFP for the campground or the employee agreement for the campground. I can tell you, that was not Patrick's responsibility to write that.
what I'm hearing, and I am hearing, is maybe we have a need for more HR administrative. Our department heads need to be department heads.
Then we have an HR. No, that's true.
But at the same note, if we don't have much HR and we have employees, I understand maybe we need something more HR oriented.
Well, I could see that, with employees, I could see a lot of time being devoted to HR issues. Again, we have to.
Policies usually would be done by an HR type person in general.
The department head is still going to make the final call.
And what I'm saying, we're an HR person to support the department head. So I'm just brainstorming out loud.
That's what
Well,
we're doing this administrator being.
Part of
Would
it.
be a support.
Well, I'm your administrator, I think is in charge.
Well,
They are in charge, and they do take them.
Well, that is not how the job description is going to be written, because that's not what we want.
I also like to reiterate, just because we move forward in saying, let's go forward with this process and look for somebody and post the position, doesn't mean we have to hire somebody. You know, we're not gonna hire somebody.
Been here 8 years and
We are not going to
this
hire
is the vote.
somebody
No, dear, this is the vote.
who is gonna rule an iron fist necessarily. We're gonna hire someone who is a partnership. That's how we want respectfully. How many county administrators?
If I went through 10,
I appreciate that, and I think we're doing good.
Agree on that. Maybe we need a county board administrator, not a county administrator.
Well, if you notice on the list,
It
it
has
says,
nothing to do with the whole county
It
sheriff's
says on
department. They
here.
have nothing to do with Eric, Patrick's business. They control our county. So why do we have a county board?
it says oversee day-to-day operations of the county.
Overseas.
County board functions. We have a lot of responsibility.
I think John's offended because he thinks we're gonna tell him who to fire. I'm just kidding.
That's the budget. We don't have the money.
Treasurer
You know,
Mayo.
I've always been supportive of the administrator, but we don't have the money. We have the budget.
Just not
Are we gonna vote or?
It's
Hold
not
on.
enough.
Treasurer Mayo.
Anyway.
I'm not speaking on behalf of any other elected or department head, and I really don't have much skin in the game, and I'm not trying to influence your vote one way or another. From the lens of HR, this county is lacking. I've been responsible for payroll since 2017. I've seen a lot of people be hired. I've seen a lot of people leave or be fired. What I don't see when they come in are employment agreements written. Stuff is not done in writing. When people leave, there's no exit interview. There's no a punch list of what needs to be turned in, what needs to be done, what needs to be settled up. And also that opportunity, what went wrong? How can the county grow and do better? Somebody may double middle finger us when they leave and we're never gonna know. But if you don't have somebody sitting down and doing that, and I'm not saying it necessarily is an administrator, but somebody to do that. That is where it's not the responsibility of a department head to have that HR expertise. It's not the responsibility of the department head to handle that. That's a day-to-day. All of us run our offices, and we do it very efficiently, and we do it very effectively. And an administrator is not a threat to what we do by any means of the stretch, because I can tell you right now, the personalities of everyone we have right now, and an administrator comes in, it's not a confrontation, it's not a battle. If it was, we would resolve it. If I got all rude, you know what? Russell would tell me to simmer it down, or vice versa. Shar would give me some candy, whatever the case is. We would work through it because you have a great group of people. We set the tone. So please don't hear me wrong. I'm not saying I'm offended by you saying it wouldn't work with the department heads. You can't speak on behalf of us to know. And you don't know until you try. What happened in the past is past. We can look back and learn, but what I hear Lisa trying to do, and you're missing the mark, it's the present and the future. That's what we're looking at here. In terms of infrastructure and the money, do we have the money? Do we not have the money? You as the governing body, you set that precedence. But it's really easy for you to say we don't have the money. I challenge you to look at what we have, and then you tell me what we have for a strategic plan for the future. Because we budget 1 year. You know who's going to work on that potentially? An administrator to look at us not at the lens of the next year, but years down the road. That's good governance. Now, whether that is an administrator or you get all of us department heads together, you make us super happy with a lot of sugar and we agree to unrealistic terms, I'm not certain that that's going to happen or not. But we're missing an opportunity if we do not look at this from a bit of positivity that it could happen, not that it didn't happen in the past effectively or correctly, or it's not going to happen now. And I can tell in my tone, it sounds like I'm trying to tell you to vote for an administrator. What I'm encouraging you to do is not be so closed-minded at the opportunity of what that can look like. That's all I'm asking.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Williams,
No.
Barclay,
No.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
No.
Grigsby,
Yes.
Heller,
No.
Kessel,
Yes.
Coomer,
No.
Murphy,
No.
Platt,
Yes.
Sloan,
No.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spengler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Widger,
No.
voted down. 8-7 to the nays.
Okay, motion failed. Kessel?
One final comment. I'd really like for some of you that think that everything just runs and all, if you had any idea how some of the county board members and the committee chairs, what the time that goes into some of this, you'd probably be really surprised. It doesn't just happen, but I'm sure you think it does.
All right, moving on. Health. Member Williams?
I'd still like to entertain to have Cole speak about this next month when he comes. I mean, he didn't know anything about this vote being brought forward. Hold on,
Ma'am.
you're not on. At least hear what Cole says about this. Now, we voted not to pursue this. That doesn't mean at this time. If he makes, I just can't see us spending that kind of money to bring somebody in. If we got somebody, already that's available, that we're already employing.
He's not gonna do the kind of work that he's done.
You're not gonna get anybody for $80,000.
I gotta say point of order again.
Okay.
We just voted on it.
Yep.
We'll have a discussion with Cole and we'll see if they're interested at all.
Okay, there's a resolution to appoint Dwayne Bernard, MD, for the Fulton County Tuberculosis Board. Do you pull 3 things off the consent and move it to action?
That was on consent.
I was on consent.
That was consent.
Oh, that was, I'm on consent.
So I probably would have known if it
Action. Oh, you're right. Okay. Forget that. The other thing had, from Clayburg was that they had a resident fall and had to report themselves, and they had stayed out, and everything came back clean. So, as far as that, everything is good there.
Okay,
So, that's all I got.
thank you.
Sorry, Brad.
Okay. Member Williams, property, Fort Public Safety and Campground.
We'll start with property real quick. Spoke to Stacy, Charlene, and some other, I need to get with Patrick to get some shelving units. We talked about it in the committee meeting last week about starting to use the Dollar General building. We agreed that it'd probably be better to hire a moving company. Stacy, she said that she would have all her stuff ready. So when this moving company was ready to come, they would just move it over. Hopefully each department head, Charlene told me she's applied for a grant for some scanning, so she may not have that much stuff eventually. But I went and priced out some shelving and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get the department heads to kind of decide how many shelvings and what kind of area they're going to need over there. So I'd like to get over there maybe next week, depending on what's going on, and at least tape off the areas. You guys show us what you want. And then Patrick said something about getting the plastic chain. Even if we need to do that, maybe just tape it off. So and bringing that up with Keith, he needed some places to put stuff. We lucked out. The sheriff's department's using the storage units over there, but the building out at the campground is going to be freed up. So he's going to be able to put a lot of stuff from the highway department out there. It's chain linked and everything secure. So that worked out good. So, yes, Dave.
Carl, I don't know if you talked to Andrew at the campground, he needs back in that building where they're gonna store stuff. There are public records from the campground being stored in there on a pallet.
Okay.
He's wanting to know if he can have a little bit of room in the Dollar General. Put his records.
Sure. Can't imagine they're in very good shape if they're back there, or how long we even.
They're in totes and everything,
Keep
but
them, but.
some of them are getting close to being destroyed. They're from 2012 through 2014.
I'm sure no more area he'll need with the big space for him
Yeah, he was asking, I don't know where he's at tonight.
Right
It's
behind
right
you.
here.
there.
Sure, that can be worked out outside the county board meeting.
But,
Okay. Mowing bid.
Well, we put the ad out for the mowing bids. We had 2 bids submitted. We opened them last Tuesday. I abstained from that because one of the bids is a relative line. So the 2 bids come in. One was $125 an acre, and the other one was $39 an acre. So the other bid was the barn in Canton. Carol Braun did the 125. So I have to abstain from all of that. But any questions on that?
Shall I make the motion, seeing you got to abstain?
Sure.
I'll make the motion to accept the mowing bid.
Okay, moved by Murphy, second by Beck. Any other discussion?
One other thing, I guess, before we vote, this is a 1-year deal. So depending on where we're at next year, we'll readdress this at that time. So.
And we're accepting the 39 an acre bid, right? Just to be clear. Got it.
Do you need that broken down? Does the board need that broken down or anything? So it comes out to be $1,560 per mow with a minimum of 12 mowings for the year. If there's additional, say we have a bunch of wet weather and it's going like crazy, then there may be additional, but a minimum of 12. So,
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Barkley.
Yes.
Beck.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Grigsby.
Yes.
Heller.
Yes.
Kessel.
Yes.
Coomer.
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Platt.
Yes.
Sloan.
Yes.
Southwood.
Yes.
Spangler.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Widger.
Yes.
And Williams.
abstain.
Motion carried.
All right. I think we're now ready for it.
One other quick thing, I'd like to introduce our new campground superintendent slash host. This is Andrew Picton. Staying up with his fiance there. They are already out there working on straightening the house up, cleaning it up, getting some painting done, and hopefully they'll be moving in here in a couple of weeks. So.
Very excited to have you on board.
You can introduce yourselves if Andrew wants to meet you. He kind of wanted to come see who all was on the board, so however you want to do that.
All right, great. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, do I have a motion to go into executive session? Moved by Murphy, second by Kessel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Get out.
I'm driving. The reason why.
Get out.
I'm driving great. 40 years. Ain't nobody that got a problem. I'd rather put the big contract on all of that.
Get out of here!
Okay, thanks.
We need to let them know when the board votes to go into executive session, passes need to be out and all that.
All right, we need to, the purpose of the executive session is to discuss the contract, and I know we discussed this at the last meeting. So, but we made some revisions to the salary, and so we wanted to bring it before everyone before we voted on the contract. First problem was we weren't even paying minimum wage. So, just, you want to take it from here, Carl?
Once we went over the contract and I spoke with Stacy and stuff like that, Patrick, we realized we were paid well below minimum, like $12. And when we looked at the responsibility he has, and yeah, he's got a house out there or whatever, but sometimes that's not a benefit after looking at the house. Luckily, he was just renting, he didn't own a house, so, but you gotta live out there seven days a week, and you got to be there. So we come up with raising the salary from $25,000 to $36,500. That will get him above not much above the minimum wage, but that gets him above that. And his agreement with us, and it's all in the contract, so when I look it over, he will run regular business hours through the
35.6, not the, I mean, it's.
35.6, what did I say, 36.5? 35.6. My deck's last. So anyway, he's gonna work at least the 40 hours a week during the open camping season. He'll work Wednesday through Saturday on Mondays and Tuesdays off. They'll have set hours at the campground at the office. So once the season ends, he's going to drop down to basically 35 hours a week as a minimum. With the understanding during that open season, he may put in more than the 40 hours a week.
He's gonna be busy.
Correct. And and I talked about this in the interview. Very good kid. Did some checking. Actually, I called Justin MSD and I told him we got someone hired. He's like, oh, asked me the name. I told him, hey, he's a good kid. Know him from working from Etzel's out there between the septic systems and the portable toilets and stuff. So he is very familiar with that stuff at the campground. So I think we're definitely going to get our money's worth out of this weekend. I'd be surprised if we didn't. So he'll take his vacation much like John did during the off season. And we made sure that he understood this is
appreciate it.
Glad we recognize you.
I'm glad somebody recognizes me. Yeah. Oh, you have to basically read a legal description.
Okay, moving on, budget. Do I have a motion? We're ready to, we need to amend the campground budget to appropriate funds, move money from unappropriated funds to campground salary. Do I have a motion for that? Widger, seconded by Southwood. You need the exact amount.
11.5,
Going to move 11.5.
right? 11.5.
Okay, so we have a motion.
We need like 1,500.
10-6.
It's 11.5,
10-6.
right? I don't know, Pat said 11.5.
What was 25,000, now it's 35,600, that's
But we're-
10,600.
But we're 3.5 months into the fiscal year, right?
Yes,
That's the,
So do we, doesn't matter, there's money left
We need
over,
like
either for next
less than
year.
2,000.
I would rescind the second and the first and table. That's what I would do.
And you could just do a resolution.
Add it later on.
Okay, is everybody good with that? You send that, we'll come back next month with the exact amount that we need
We don't have a resolution
and have a
anyway.
resolution for that. Okay? Okay. Moving on then,
Well, we gotta have, there's a motion.
you guys can send your, who do we have on that? Yeah.
I
Southwood.
did, I don't know if I want to rescind.
I had Southwood and Widger.
Just to get it done.
What was that?
Okay. We send that. Okay, moving on, miscellaneous, the campground host contract. Do I have a motion to approve that? Moved by Williams, seconded by Sloan. Any discussion? All right, roll call.
yeah,
Heller,
Yes.
Kessel,
yes.
Coomer,
No.
Murphy,
Yes.
Platt.
Yes.
Sloan,
Yes.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
yes.
Widger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Barkley.
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Grigsby.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Thank you. Abatement ordinance, Patrick.
All I need to do, we've been in a public hearing. Bet y'all didn't know, don't remember that. But you have been. This is an ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2023 to pay debt service on the general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source, series 2016 of the county of Fulton, Illinois. Whereas the county board of the county of Fulton, Illinois, by an ordinance of the county board adopted on the 15th day of November 2016, did provide for the issuance of $1 million general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source, series 2016, and the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds. Whereas the duly certified copy of the bond ordinance was filed in the office of the county clerk of the county of Fulton, Illinois, and whereas the bonds were issued by the county pursuant to the terms of the bond ordinance, and whereas the county board hereby determines that the pledged revenues will provide for the payment of principal of and interest on the bonds due in the next bond year, so as to enable the abatement of the pledged taxes levied for the same. And whereas it is necessary and in the best interest of the county that the tax heretofore levied for the year 2023 to pay the bonds be abated. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby resolved by the county board of the county of Fulton, Illinois as follows. Section 1, abatement of tax. The tax heretofore levied for the year 2023 in the ordinance is hereby abated in its entirety. Section 2, filing of the ordinance. Forthwith, upon the adoption of this ordinance, the county clerk shall file a certified copy hereof in the records of the county, and it shall be the duty of the county clerk to abate said tax levy for the year 2023 in accordance with the provisions hereof. September 3rd, effective date. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect forthwith upon its adoption. February 13th, 2024.
All right. That, motion to approve the abatement ordinance. Moved by Kessel, second by Southwood. Any discussion? Everybody understand what this is? What's going on? All right, roll call.
Kessel,
Yeah.
Toomer,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Black, Sloan,
Yes.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Widger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Barkley,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Grigsby,
Yes.
and Heller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. I have one other thing. I goofed and did not get, we should have approved contracts for the sergeants and lieutenants tonight, as well as labor contract. I did not get that on the agenda. My mistake. I apologize for that. Anyway, we need to get that done. I'd like to have a special meeting next Wednesday. How many people could either be on the phone or here for that meeting? It'll probably last 10 minutes. Show of hands, could be on the phone. I mean, you can be on the phone or here. We got at least a quorum.
We have to have a quorum in the room.
We have to have,
Yeah, we'll do
Have a quorum in the room?
Now we do?
Yeah, we have to have a quorum in the room.
is that true, Justin? We have to have a quorum in the room?
You need to be here in person.
What
You
time
can be
is
here
it?
by phone if there's like an emergency, you can vote on it, but it's just not like
You have a
call
quorum.
in if you feel like it.
Okay, how many people can be here?
What time is the meeting? Same time?
Well, and that was that's gonna be my next question. I mean, we can go as early as it would. I didn't know if 5 or 5:30 would
What
work.
time will get the most people?
Yeah. What time will get the most?
I can be here at 5 or 5:30.
5:30 or
I could be here.
for Helen.
5:30?
5:30.
How many people could be here at 5:30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
You got a
6,
quorum.
7. Okay, let's go with that. And
Rachel, you got that?
Yes.
I apologize for that, and it would be a very quick meeting. So, all right. Anything else? Not, I will take a motion to adjourn. Moved by Kessel, seconded by Coomer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
7, dude.
Microphone on the whole time, not the speaker.
Oh.